Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is Anytime Media. We are your hosts. My name is Ocean Subiano.
I'm Taylor Vera.
And this is your weekly Andor breakdown. Episode 11, ladies and gentlemen. We got one episode left. It's kind of weird, a little bit, because we're just so used to such short seasons of stuff from Disney Plus. So the fact that we're going on week 11 of these reviews.
That's a weird number.
12, I mean, yeah, a little bit. But it's weird because I feel like we've been doing an episode on Andor for so long. But it's been 11 weeks. So, I don't know.
That's because the show.
Actually, it hasn't been 11. It's been like 9 weeks, right? Because there was 3 episodes at first?
Yeah, in the beginning. Yeah.
Or 2, or whatever it was.
It was 3.
But, ladies and gentlemen, this is your weekly.
Yeah.
This is your weekly update, all right? So, if you guys are following along with us on the Andor train, all right, we got some things to talk about, some questions, I think. And should be a good one. It's gonna be a little quick because not a whole lot that happens, but it's gonna be good. So, spoiler-free section, real fast. Scores, spoilers as always. Spoiler-free section. You stated that you think this is a filler episode, right?
Yeah.
I can somewhat understand that. I think that maybe it might be, but there's also just. Like, to me, every storyline gets updated in this episode. And there's enough of a development and enough of questions posed to me and enough of things that I was like, holy crap, that's kind of cool, or that's really dumb, that didn't make it feel as much of a filler episode as some of the other episodes that have happened this season. So we can kind of break down why you feel like it's a filler episode and I maybe not so much feel like that way. But as far as the score goes, what are you feeling, Taylor, as far as the score?
Probably like a 6.
6 for this episode? Okay. All right. So 6 for you. I'm sitting at an 8. 8 is being a little bit generous, I think, but I don't think I can give it a 7 because I really don't think it's that bad. I think that there's a lot of good things in this episode and some not so good things. So I don't know. I feel like it's an 8. I really like a lot of the storytelling that they're doing in this episode. So we'll talk about it a little bit more. But if you guys have not seen this episode yet, check it out before you guys join us for the spoilers. Okay. As always, it's always good to experience it that way first. Yeah. We're never going to be able to explain it to you guys like the way they do, like seeing it on screen. So check it out first and then come back, dive into some spoilers with us. So this is your official
spoiler alert.
All right. So give me a general rundown of why you feel like this was a filler episode.
Well, I don't really remember a lot of it, which I feel like is a common thing for this show. I'm sure as we talk about it, I'll start remembering
stuff. Do you feel like maybe you don't remember a lot of it because today's Saturday, episode came out on Wednesday, which I'm guessing you watched it Wednesday or maybe Thursday, and then because of all the other stuff that we watch and we do for the channel, that it just kind of gets lost in the other stuff maybe?
No, because I actually have not watched a lot of stuff between when I watched this episode and now. And things that I have watched before this episode, I definitely remember. But this, I don't know, like, this show, to me, it's just, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, especially now, just going to be honest, like, it's kind of, like, too long. Like, I feel like it drags so much to me in the show that I don't, like, when I watch it every week, I'm not like excited to watch it. I kind of just watch it because I know it's out and I don't want to keep up with it. Right. But I wasn't super. I'm never really like, I'm glad today. Today is Andor day. It's really just like, what is today? Oh, it's Wednesday. Yeah, I should probably watch Andor so that I'm ready to talk about
channel.
it.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's just kind of how this episode feels like, in a sense, or similar. Yeah, where it happened. There's some things I liked about it that were cool, but it doesn't drive it enough forward for me that I care that much.
Okay. I hear you. You make some valid points. I think that the way that you feel right now is where I felt earlier in the season, but the recent developments of like episode 9 till now have kind of just jumped me a little bit, and like there's a lot of storytelling. I know I keep saying that word, but there's just a lot of storytelling, a lot of development.
That happens a lot on this show.
Huh?
Those words always come up with this show.
I know.
Everybody always talks about it.
Yeah, I know. It does. World-class storytelling.
Yeah.
I don't think it's world-class storytelling, but there's a lot of things that are coming to fruition that I see coming to fruition. Whether or not it does happen in the next episode or in future seasons, that's to be seen. But there's a lot of things that could potentially come to fruition that get me excited about this show. So, I don't know. Well, some of the things that... We'll talk about some of the things I didn't like, okay? Well, number one, not the most thing I didn't like about it, but the one thing I didn't care for, Marva, okay? I don't understand it. I think
like her passing?
Yeah. So I think what's happening is they're using it as their reason to get back Andor back to Ferrix, and that's going to be the finale of the season, right? Of him coming back to mourn his mother, and then it's going to be this whole thing of like, oh, they laid a trap for you. Do they catch him? Do they not? And then we find out during that final episode, right? That's what the events of this episode have kind of portrayed as happening. But I don't understand it, because Marva gave up leaving Ferrix to go with Andor, because Andor came back for her after the heist. He came back for her and he was like, "Let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's start a new life. I got all this money. Let's make a good life for ourselves. Let's live good." Right? She's like, "No, rebellion is first. Right? I'm gonna stay for the rebellion." And it was all fine and dandy, and it was a great moment because it was like, all right, you're standing for the rebellion. I get it.
You do you.
But then we saw nothing. We saw nothing of her actually doing anything for the rebellion, having any kind of impact or involvement with anything of the rebellion. And then now she's dead. And so it's just kind of a letdown, I think, of that storyline.
Yeah.
Right? Like
kind of basically that whole Ferrix setup was pointless.
Yeah, right, because you could have just cut all of that out and had the same reaction that I got from this, just by like not even mentioning all of the Ferrix stuff, and then later on be like, "Oh, your mother died, and, you should come back," essentially. Yeah. And I would have felt the same exact way that I feel now, except that now I feel like almost robbed of a climax of a story, or even just a buildup of a storyline that they never gave to us because they just... I don't know. It was never like they never wanted to, or they didn't have it planned, right? So I don't want to say it made me mad, but it was just kind of a bummer. It's like there's all these things that I could see you doing here, and even in this episode, they talk about how like, oh, the Sisters of Ferrix are going to take care of you now, droid, and it's like, why are you bringing up the Sisters of Ferrix now?
Yeah.
Why didn't that come up earlier? Like, why are you waiting till the to the last episode to bring up this major thing that could be a major like plot point or sub storyline of this series, and you're only bringing it up now, and now Marva's dead. So it's just, I don't know. It was a little bit of a bummer.
I agree. I honestly just can't get past the whole idea of we're gonna use this as our trap, because it's like,
how stupid do you have to be?
Yeah, that's the problem, right? It's like, do you really think, like, so if this happens, well, I guess Cassian, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
because why would you even consider coming back at this point? That moment you left, that was it. Like that was you saying goodbye. There's no reason that you should have been like, oh, yeah, I'm going to come back. No, dude.
Well, if she was alive, maybe I could see it, because then it's like, oh, you're coming back.
Like, if you're coming, I wouldn't really say like, oh, I'm coming back. Like, because when he says it, it's kind of like, oh, I want to, like, come home.
Yeah.
Not in the sense of like, oh, I'm going to come back, pick you up, and then we're going to leave.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, no, let's get out of here.
Right.
But she made the firm decision that she wanted to stay.
Right.
And you're right, we don't really get anywhere with it now that she's dead. And on top of that, we're basically just banking on Cassian being a retard.
Right.
So
to make things interesting at the end.
But it's not interesting. It's stupid. And I mean, we don't know if it's actually going to happen, but just the fact that you thought that was a smart setup to begin with, is it retarded?
Yeah,
like, you know, it kind of goes against what everything that we were building up with the Empire, like conjuring up these plans and stuff. Now you just make a stupid move.
You're back to prequel setups and stuff.
Right. Like just they'll never see this coming.
Yeah.
And another thing too, I wasn't the biggest fan that they what's his name? This droid.
I don't know.
I can't remember his name, but like that. I know it's just kind of a Star Wars thing, but to me, this one felt very forced in the sense that it's like he's like Wall-E, or he's just, you know, I know there's always a token droid and stuff, but this one, he's like kind of not in the right, like he's out of place, basically.
I don't know why he has a stutter. It's a little different, I guess. But
just his design and everything, it just, like I said, reminds me of Wall-E,
right? Which
I love. And I know that Star Wars has droids, but his owner's dead, and now he's just kind of like there for the cute, emotional attachment thing. Yeah. I mean, I know that is part of it, of course, as everything is at Disney World, or Disney's World. But just why?
Yeah. No,
like, you know, because the scene with him and the cool guy that
we'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah. You know, it's touching, but it's like,
do we really need that? Like, is there importance out of this other than the fact that you're just trying to show us that this droid really loved Marva?
Yeah, like I get that, but I already knew that.
Yeah, we know that he loves Marva.
It's like, so it comes back to this seemingly repeating idea of it is detail and more developing, but for what purpose?
Right. Where is this going? And you make a fair point about that. Where is this storyline going?
Because I do like that character. I don't remember his name, but you know, the cool guy. Guy. Also, I bet you love this moment. We get to see our man.
Dude, yeah. I was gonna bring it up.
As soon as it came up, I'm like, I bet you Ocean loved it.
I was gonna bring it up at the end. I was gonna say my favorite part of the episode was our march.
Yeah, it was. Well, of course, it was part of Ferrex. So I wanted to bring it up because it's still Ferrex. But I was like, he's back. Great.
And I had the same thought. I was like, yes, more of him. We asked for it and we got it.
Because I was like, you know, as I was going on, I'm like, oh shit, there he is.
I'm so like. If somebody could just give me one of those like leather aprons and
let's just get a Disney. Can we just get like a holiday special of just him just doing songs?
That would be so cool, dude. That'd be sick.
Because I think we're getting more. I think we're getting more Groot stuff.
Yeah, we're getting a whole.
Or is it just a Marvel Guardian?
It's a Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's all of them. But yeah, I loved that moment. It was awesome. It was probably my favorite part of the episode.
I think he had different clothes this time.
He might have.
Looked brighter.
Yeah, he might have. Or it might have just been a lighting thing because it was at night instead of the morning.
But
it was great for sure.
I liked seeing it. So I was like,
The other thing on Ferrex, I didn't get a picture of him, but there was this like rando guy that I don't think was Empire because he wasn't with the First Order. He wasn't in uniform either, but he was in like a coffee shop, and then he like pulled out a transponder and he was like,
"Oh yes, blah, blah, you're blah, right.
Blah. Yeah. Who was that?"
So
because he wasn't with Cinta either, so
I don't know because
I don't know who he is.
It felt like an undercover Imperial,
maybe, but
guy.
They never connect that.
They haven't touched.
So
it
again.
Yet, so.
Deeper story, developed story, but for what purpose? To what end? Like where? Like you have a gigantic presence on this bit or on this planet. Do you really need a bunch of undercover guys in coffee shops? Like, probably not, because it's not like you're expecting a ton of rebel activity out of this.
And
this
who are you fooling? Like this is like a middle
planet.
Of nowhere. Like everybody knows everybody because it's so small. They're not gonna be like. So who's that dude talking to his lapel?
Exactly. No, I agree. It's like, really? Like, I don't know. So that, to me, that it makes me think, okay, he's probably not Empire then. He's not with Cinta because we've never seen him and her interact. In fact, there's a scene in another episode where we see that guy and we see Cinta walk by him and then it like zooms in on him instead of Cinta. So he was in a different episode. Don't remember which one it was. But I just don't understand. Like, this is another one of those things where like you can't throw in these random storylines at the end and then expect to be able to bring everything to fruition in one final episode. You're not Dave Filoni, like, creating all this stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean, he has like a...
I think he has a producer level role in this, right? But he's not...
Yeah, he's not like a...
He's not a directing
No,
role,
he's not a lead role or anything.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing with that storyline. And then... Let's just get this out of the way. Okay? Let's just... Where is it? I know I saved it. Come on. No, I know I saved it. What? Damn it, I didn't save it. Frick. Cyril. What is going on? Like, for one, we get the sergeant back and...
But in such a stupid way.
So dumb. He's like, oh, you told me to tell you if we ever heard anything about Andor.
It's so funny because he's like, hey, I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to get to the point and then completely avoid the point.
Yeah.
And just waste your time and be like, what? Hello? Yeah.
And the whole time, Cyril's like,
what? Cassie? Handle? What?
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, what are we doing here? What am I watching? It was like he was watching like a loved one die on the prompter or on the screen. It was like, he's like, no, I was just like, what the?
Because he's like, my entire mission in life is slipping between my fingers because this guy won't speak.
Right.
What about Andor?
And then we get this ridiculously cringy scene. It was so bad. Like, I think it should just be cut out of the... Like, it's so bad. It's probably... like the worst thing I've seen from Star Wars in a really long time. It's so bad. It's just this really cringy scene of him like hiding from his mom outside of their apartment, and then he runs into the apartment and steals money from his mom. It's like, what? So not only are you this degenerate leader that got fired, and then you're at the bottom of you're at rock bottom, and then you turn into this weirdo that's obsessed with justice, and then you turn into this weirdo that's obsessed with Lieutenant Muriel and her love for justice, and then now you're stealing money from your mom? Like, what?
He lives in his mom's basement, bro.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's like, how... There's no... You said it last episode. There's no possible way that they could redeem him. Nope. There's no possible way. There's nothing you could show me
this
or
episode
explain
confirms
to me.
That he is gone.
He should just be stricken from canon.
Yeah.
Like, they should just straight up say, like, sorry about Cyril. That one kind of got away from us. We're just going to delete.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad. I don't understand, like, how people aren't seeing that and be like, What?
I would rather see more development with Reva, and I didn't like her either.
I would do, actually.
She's a lot more interesting than this character.
It's so bad. It is so unbelievably bad. It's so bad. I can't stand it.
It was funny, honestly, just because of how bad it was.
It was comical.
Yeah,
but
it's not supposed to be
bad comical.
Yeah, it's not supposed to.
It was like, what the is that? You're stealing money from your mom, dude. Like, what? Yeah. What is wrong with you? It's so bad. Yeah, I'm done talking about that storyline. I really hope and pray that we never see anything about Cyril again. But because of what happened in this episode,
it's gonna happen, bro.
With him
you
finding
just
out,
don't understand, bro.
Yeah,
world-class storytelling.
Yeah,
you don't understand.
Yeah. Of course, I can confidently say that his storyline is not world-class storytelling. That is,
you just don't understand. It's too complex for you.
Yeah, apparently. Shit. It's right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another storyline that we didn't particularly like before this episode, and that I'm like kind of sort of got better a little bit maybe, but Mon Mothma, she gets a visit from her cousin Vel, and basically confesses to Vel about all the fact that she's like has no like she's in this insane amount of trouble, and that she's potentially gonna partner with this bad guy from
she is
Shineline. But like, so there's a couple issues I have with this storyline, but also at the same time, I think that what this is setting up for is for ultimately Mon Mothma has to separate from the Senate, right? Because she has to become the leader of the resistance, right? So at some point she has to formally separate herself from the Senate. And so I'm guessing that's what this is setting up to be. I'm not a huge fan of the way they're going about it, and in fact there's like, to me, there's a lot of holes. Like the fact that she sits there and she tells Vel, "Hey Vel, I used to move all this money, now 400,000 credits is missing." And Vel's sitting over there like, "Huh, I just robbed the Empire.
Suck, bro.
I just robbed the Empire of 80 million credits,
supposedly,
of which I got
allegedly
half." And like, sucks, bro. Like, cool story, but that sounds like a you problem, not me. Even though like 400,000 credits would just be a drop in the bucket for me to give to you to fix the issue, instead of you having to essentially sell your daughter to this bad dude. Like, what? Like, it didn't even come up at all. And I was sitting there like, but I mean, what'd you do with the money? Where is it? Because we never see her give it to Luthen or anything. So it's like, what are you doing with the money?
Poof.
Yeah. Which, now that I think about it, like, where did all of that money go?
It's gone.
Like, even on Andor. Like, Andor obviously, had some fun right after, but like, where did it all go? I mean, he shows us a little bit, right?
Yeah, but not
but not that much. Like,
Yeah,
there's definitely not 40 million credits in that box.
It looks like about as much as he might have had before.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. That part was just like, why? Okay, whatever. But I get it. They have to figure out a way to formally separate it from the Senate in order to coincide with canon that we already know. So, whatever. I don't know. Not a huge fan of that storyline.
Yeah, it's dumb. I don't like it. It's bad. Mon Mothma as she is now, like, don't like you. Like, I don't care. I don't like,
I'm.
You're not a character that I would like. I know what is gonna happen.
I know what your end goal or your end form
at
is.
that point,
I like
great.
You.
But
how we're getting
right
there?
now, you're not even the same person. Like, who are you?
Yeah. So maybe there's some development that I'm holding out hope for Mon Mothma. Yeah. Cyril should just. Not
I
exist.
mean, I could say that at the very least. Is like. I'm not holding out for her, but I could say between her and Cyril, she has more purpose to me than
for sure
than Cyril.
Yeah, for sure.
But ultimately still the same. It's basically.
Then we get this other cringy scene of Vel going to the shop
with the assistant.
With the assistant,
yeah,
and it's this very weird.
I hated the scene so much.
It's just to me, it doesn't make sense. Like, why do we need to see that? What purpose did that serve? Like, just to show tension between Vel and them? Like, but what is Vel really even complaining about? Like, what is she?
I don't know. Like, it almost was like I just need this. I just need to swing my big dick.
Well, it was more to me. It felt like Vel was like, haven't done anything rebellious in a while. I need to go and scratch my itch and talk to my confidence and stuff. It was just so weird.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know. She just, to me, it was just like a overstepping your boundary kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like, why?
The entire time, like sorry, I don't know her name. I'm to be honest, I don't care about you enough to really care to look it up right now. Yeah. But the assistant to Luthen, she's fine as a character. It's just like the entire time she's like, stop. It's like, what are you doing right now? Like, this is not okay. Just you don't.
But then continues talking about
it. But then she just ignores it and just keeps going. Yeah. It's like, again, this kind of like goes back to when you were like, oh, I'm for the rebellion and blah 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 blah. I'm so serious about everything. Apparently not.
Yeah. Again, apparently the rules that you have,
like you really do just act like a stupid, spoiled, rich child.
Yeah, for real. All right, we've talked enough shit about the episode, and I gave it an 8 before we started digging into this, and it sounds like I don't really think it's an 8, but the other side, or the other things that happened in this episode really excited me. I don't know how you feel about Andor's storyline in this episode, but I personally really liked it. God damn. Oh, this is the scene between Vel and the assistant.
Yeah.
I actually really liked this. It was enough to me to justify them getting off planet, right? Because we made that comment in our last episode of, okay, they're out of the prison, but they're still on the planet.
Yeah.
So, like, what now? So they end up, him and this dude, whatever his name is, and they end up finding their way to like a little,
I don't know, some kind of like quarry.
Yeah, I guess, where these guys are working.
They're like fishing.
Or fishing, yeah. And then they make a break for their ship. And these guys trap them. And then there's this, like,
super awkward,
weird dialogue.
Yeah.
That when I was watching it, because these guys, their natural, like, voice and stuff is actually hard to understand.
Yeah.
It was hard to understand what was happening in the scene. Because they're just yelling at each other. Because these guys are like, "Oh, you Empire scum!" And then Andor's like, "No, we're not Empire. We're prisoners." And then they're like, "Why are you running to it?"
Yeah,
and then he's
really
like,
just
and then he gestures to the guy with a knife as the hand, and he's like,
yeah. Taser face. Yeah.
Taser face. So it was an interesting, or it was a weird scene. But eventually, these guys were like, fuck the Empire. I'll let you guys go and take my ship. But I actually like it, just because it's enough to give me the sense of their prison break being fulfilled and completed, but not like dragging on to an entire episode about how they get.
Yeah, I mean it's good that they finally are like starting to move on from it. I guess. I thought it was weird overall. It was interesting. So it's kind of nice to actually see some aliens for once in the show.
Well, so that was going to be another one of my points is that
it's always just humans in this show.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
we don't see any other creatures, so it's nice to see, even though they're really gross looking.
Yeah, I do want to say, like the beginning, like before they meet these guys, I thought it was some weird, like I know they were trying to show them like escaping or whatever from
on the side of the cliff.
It was just like that's such a weird way to do it. But yeah, it's not really that big of a deal. Thought it was cool to see these guys. The conversation, like you said, is kind of weird.
Kind of hard to follow and understand.
I'm glad they got some new species in here. This one in particular, for some reason, reminded me of the guys from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and they're so funny.
Yeah.
And then this guy, it's like he's like Meek. He's just got knives for hands. Like, and then he's got like a digging claw, like he's like a crab, I guess. I don't know, but he looks weird. I don't know. I thought it was like I guess it's just convenience, but at the same time, it's like okay, I know they like everybody's stealing our fish and blah 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 blah. It's just like
water.
Fuck the Empire, which it's understandable. It's just like. What are the odds of you meeting these super nice people like
and then
you're like, oh, where do you want to go? Oh, can you just like Uber me to to this other planet? Oh yeah, we got you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So in that sense, it's just convenience, but it was
enough to me. It was enough to finish out that portion of the story.
It was barely enough, but it did its job.
Tie it up. Finish it out without dragging it on and making it this whole thing, because he already climaxed at the prison break, like the actual getting out of the prison. If you try and make another episode where you reclimax of trying to get off planet, it's.
I mean, even in this one though, at the end, like when they split ways, it's still kind of like hugging on to it because it's like the guy's like, we gotta do it for the boys. Like, we gotta keep telling the story. Tell people what happened here.
Yeah.
Bro, first of all, you're gonna die. Yeah, okay, you're right. First of all, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Second of all, you do that, you're dead. Yeah. The word's gonna get around. Empire is immediately gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you and your little pistol that Cassian gave you ain't doing nothing.
Let's talk about the fact that his box of stuff was just still in the shower.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Convenient.
It was really comical to me. It was very funny to me that it was still there.
I do think it's interesting and funny that this is the second time that we've gotten in Star Wars of the implied sexual thing. Because like if you remember in the beginning with Bix and the boyfriend dude.
Sure.
That was the first time we've seen like sex, like heavily implied.
Oh, right.
Like they had sex. And in that scene with Cassian grabbing his stuff, the two aliens in the bed, like that was clearly like a
post coitus.
Yeah, like you could tell it's like a female version of whatever species, and then the guy's just kind of laying there. And it's the second time we see it. I don't know. I just thought that's what I noticed from that scene after he grabbed it. I was like, of course it's just sitting there, and here you go. Like, here's your blaster. And then he does his whole little speech thing.
No, you're not wrong. It's kind of interesting. I didn't think about that when I was watching it. I was just laughing at the fact that they didn't notice a giant box sitting on top of their shower.
Yeah. Just chilling there.
Yeah, but
big shiny silver box.
Yeah, but whatever. I mean, it's okay. You're the hero. You get a little convenience factor. And then that's kind of the end of what we see from Andor until the very end of the episode where he's informed of his mother's passing.
Yeah.
And there's a scene of him looking very emotional. And I couldn't quite tell. Like, what are you thinking, bro? You know, like, are you going to be an idiot and go back to Ferrix?
Oh, like what his plans are?
Or are you going to, like, be smart and, you know, not fall into the Empire's hands? So,
well, because it's world-class storytelling, he's got to go back
and liberate Ferrix from the Empire.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's gonna duel Lieutenant Miro for Bix.
Duel the Fates.
Yeah, duel the Fates and Bix is the prize because Bix is still being interrogated and looks horrible. Oh my god!
Like, it's weird. Bad. Like the effect, bad. The effect is good.
Yeah, it's they did great with the makeup.
But it's like it's weird. It's like how did you go from
like you look good,
like good to like just candy. Slightly, mishandled or whatever. And you look like you were possessed.
Yeah,
you're like you were literally in The Exorcist. Like yeah,
you were in that hospital and prayed for the devil.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. I'm sorry, Bix. Like, we need to get you out of there because you don't deserve that.
I mean,
you deserve to look like that.
I don't really need you in the show, to be honest. So, I mean, I haven't seen what you're supposed to do, but
whatever.
Yeah, but you should probably get out of there.
All right. Last thing we'll kind of talk about. Well, actually, it's a 2-part thing because they involve the same person, but there's a 2-part thing. So first, let's go over this. Okay. Luthen goes back to Saul Guerrero, and now Saul Guerrero wants to help out Krieger and be a part of Krieger's mission. And they have this it's a very complex conversation. And I think it kind of flies over a lot of people's heads. And admittedly, it kind of flew over my head a little bit, and I had to talk to my father about it, and he kind of explained it a little bit more. But they have this very complex conversation about the fact that they need that now Saul Guerrero wants to help out Krieger, and Luthen's like, actually, we're gonna just let him die, but it's gonna be your decision, not mine. And so, that's like the basis of it, but there's such minute the way it's written and their conversation. It's very. I don't think confusing is the right word, but like very manipulative, I think is a better word. Luthen is very manipulative of Saul Guerrero, and he basically gets Saul Guerrero to make the decision to let 30 men plus Krieger die instead of blowing their whole cover, essentially.
Yeah.
So it ultimately is a cover your own ass thing for Luthen, because he says that Krieger can't trace back to him. He's never met Krieger. Krieger doesn't know what he looks like. He can't they can't trace back to Luthen through Krieger, but they can trace back to Luthen through Sol Guerrera, and so if Sol Guerrera goes and helps, then he could potentially be compromised.
Right.
So he's offering up the choice to Sol Guerrera and be like, hey, are you going to go help Krieger and potentially risk exposing me and exposing all of us and like really putting a damper on our whole operation? Or are you going to let Krieger and his men die for the greater cause? And it's hard. It's a rough conversation that if you just casually watch it, it's not that big of a deal because you're just like, oh, it's just story development. But if you really think about it, like that's a hard ultimatum to give somebody, and it's kind of it's really dark. It's really dark of Luthen to have put Sol Guerrera in that position. And
I mean, I wouldn't say it's dark for him to do that. It's definitely like it's not an easy decision or something to be discussing or talking about. But I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just used to that idea. So like, it wasn't super complicated to me or anything. I do think it was very good. Like, I'm glad they had the conversation. It fit. These guys had great actors and everything, and it was a great scene. But I mean, I don't know. The idea of it is not so out of this world to me. No, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's totally reasonable.
The idea of the conversation is not totally out of this realm. The thing that gets me is Luthen's ability to just direct the conversation and manipulate. He essentially gets Sol Guerrera to think like it's your idea to do this, like almost like he's just really manipulative, and it's.
I mean, I would agree that he is manipulative, but I don't think it's to the extent of Inception.
No, not like that. No, not that far.
Like he didn't say, like, he doesn't ultimately make him like. That's not his idea. Because all he did is tell him the truth.
Right.
He told him everything that's happening, and he was like, "Look, this is the situation, and ultimately, you're a man of your own. So you make your own decisions. Just know that those decisions have different consequences."
That makes sense. It was just a really powerful scene to me.
It was for sure. I definitely agree.
I really liked when you have men everywhere. Yeah. Tubes is my man. And Tubes is like, what?
No way. He's lying.
I'm not your man.
Yeah. And he's like, what? How could you?
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
I like that.
Yeah, it was a really powerful scene. I really liked it. And I'm hoping for more. I'm sure we're going to get more. Because this dynamic between, is it Forrest Whitaker? Is that his name?
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, okay. I always get him and Morpheus mixed up.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Forrest Whitaker and Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, they're really good.
They're killing it. Like, they killing it.
Which, I mean, makes sense. I feel like we should see them a lot, given their
place within
their jobs and stuff and such. But yeah, they're great. I love them talking together on screen.
Then let's talk about what happens directly after this conversation. And in my opinion, whether or not you necessarily like what happens or like whatever your feelings about it, you cannot deny that it wasn't fucking badass.
Oh, it's awesome.
Right? So, right after this, Luthen's on his way home.
We get a penis ship.
Nah, man, that could be a rocket ship. That could be a toy.
It is a rocket ship.
Nah, man, you should have.
You should have got a penis. Star Destroyer.
But Luthen, one-man army against an Imperial. I don't even know what this ship is called.
Yeah, I don't know this particular class ship, but it looks like a penis.
It does. It does. If we're being honest, it does. But essentially, it feels like it's just that gigantic tractor beam ship.
Which is weird.
That it's just roaming around out there. But whatever. They're in hostile territory or whatever. So this ship grabs hold of Luthen's ship, and Luthen tries to was it Alderaan, right? He tried to impersonate as somebody from Alderaan.
Alderaan.
And typical fashion, the Empire's like, I don't care if your security code's clear or whatever, we still want to like board your ship and see what's going on. And so they grab him by a tractor beam, right? Which prior to this, anytime anybody's been caught in a tractor beam, that's it.
Yep.
End game.
You're stuck.
You're done. You're screwed. You get caught by a tractor beam, you're getting boarded. You're going to the ship. But not Luthen.
Nope.
Not Luthen.
Not when you're Top Gun Luthen.
Yeah, Top Gun Luthen, bro. Luthen, he deploys various countermeasures. One being like this, like
super crazy
needler thing.
Yeah, it's like an anti-air missile defense system.
Yeah,
but times 50, and it's just like 500,000 needles like launching in the back.
Yeah, and it destroys the tractor beam.
It just annihilates the satellite dish thing, which is.
Yeah.
For some reason, a part of their tractor beam because
which has never been that way before.
Tractor beams have never worked like that before, but
So this is what I mean by like there are definitely some things in here like I don't know. I mean, why is it that all of a sudden now we can get out tractor beams? But whatever.
Well, get out of tractor beams.
Yeah.
That's the tractor beam instead of just like a.
It's just a field that's generated.
Yeah, mystical field generated by this attachment on the ship, but it does not like a. Specific thing. There's just like a force that they can project.
Yeah, but it was cool.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely cool.
Dope. And then this dude is Top Gun flying around space, shooting people while flying and killing TIE fighters. And then this dude pulls out some Iron Man laser fist things and just like cut you all in half.
He has a lightsaber ship.
Hey, that's a good way of putting it. This dude got a Inquisitor style lightsaber.
He was like, "Oh, Darth Maul, you got a double lightsaber, bitch! Look at this ship.
I got a ship, bro.
My lightsaber's bigger than yours."
You see Darth Maul over there, just heavy breathing,
staring.
Yeah, it was dope. I ain't gonna lie. I know we saw it in like some trailers and stuff, but I kind of forgot about it because it just never came up.
Yeah.
Then we see it here, and Luthen's just one man army, bro.
Yeah, it's badass. The problem is, it's badass.
Yeah,
because the thing is, like, look, you make Anakin look like a joke doing this. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I don't know. We'll see.
What is this? I think I found a transformer. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, the entire thing, it's cool. And it's like it's what you expect out of Disney with Star Wars,
Make some kind of spectacle.
Yeah, it looks great. It's awesome. But then when you really think about it, you're like, what did I just watch?
Right. I just watched this one ship get away from a tractor beam. First of all,
he's been floating around traveling for this long time. This massive, like, destroyer class looking thing just sneaks up on him.
Yeah.
Without any
his radar
warning.
never picked it up or anything.
Just casually stealth mode. And then it's got all these giant... Again, it's a penis-looking ship for some reason. It's new. Okay, that's cool, I guess. It's got these dishes on it for what?
Yeah.
Like, it's new, but why does it look like that? And then I do like the commander of the ship.
Right,
like,
so
I do enjoy that conversation that they have.
The last thing I was going to say is this scene of him.
He actually does really well, and I like the interaction between him and Luthen.
The scene of him at the end.
Once it jumps to the pilots, then that's when it gets ridiculous. Like, the conversation and everything happens. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool, and it makes sense. Except the jumping out of the tractor beams, that's just a bit much.
Just a little bit.
But like what he does, like, oh, hold on, like, I'm a one man show, blah blah blah. Like all his reasoning and stuff, and him like, hurry up, like, we're gonna board you, come on. Like, it was great. And then you get all the ridiculous space scene. They send like, so they have this big ass ship.
Fighters.
I don't know. I only remember seeing like
I think it was 4.
I think it was 2 or 3 regular TIE fighters and then a bomber. And it's like,
I didn't see a bomber.
There was one bomber that came out, and I was like, why? What are you bombing, bro? Like, where are you going? And then they just get, they get wrecked.
AC-130 support from above.
Yeah,
I don't know.
In midair. Yeah. But then we get the super badass like insane skills of Luthen, And it's so cool. And I'm glad that you're a good pilot, but you, like I said, you just made everybody else look like shit, bro.
Yeah, where were you during everything?
Well, yeah, like, I mean, I thought Anakin and Poe were great, but they got nothing on you.
Yeah, you're insane, dude.
You are the rebellion.
Maybe we don't see him because he dies eventually.
Probably.
But this scene of this commander of the ship staring out the window at the ship going to light speed. His face is just sweet. It's just so good because it's a mixture of what the hell just happened?
What just happened?
And then also it was a mixture of that and him being like, well, I'm fucked. Yeah. Like, how am I supposed to explain this to my
this is not gonna look good on my reports.
Exactly. Yeah, like it was a great.
But on top of that, it's like, oh, why don't you just chase him, bro?
Yeah, well, he went to hyperspeed.
Yeah, but they track in hyperspeed according to Star Wars and
later on though.
Well, yeah. So
later on.
Oh, so that's a later thing.
Later
on. It's not totally just breaking canon all the time.
No. Yeah, okay. That's later on.
World class storytelling.
Yeah. World class. All right. As to wrap up this episode, I'm gonna ask you a question, and it's just kind of in preparation for the season finale. What I want you to do is give me as of right now, going into the season
what do I
finale.
think it's gonna happen?
No. I don't want to know what you think is gonna happen. I want a score. As of right now, episode 1 through 11.
Like a collective score.
Episode 1 through 11, give me a collective score, because when episode 12 happens and we do our final impressions, I want to compare how the final episode influences your final score. I think
so how do I feel about the show entirely right
now without the final episode? What is your like if you had to give a final score right now, what would it be?
6.
Okay, so slightly above average, right?
Yeah.
Slightly above average. All right. I like that. I think as a whole, I'm at a high 7. Okay. And if the finale is good, I think I can push up to an 8. If the finale is bad, I'll probably just stay at a 7.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. I really like a lot of aspects of the show.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good things about the show.
And it's a little bit better than average than me, and it's slightly above yours for me. So it's just
it's good. Not far. I mean, 7 is like good.
And we'll see what the final episode brings us and whether or not I can push up or stay down. Is there room for movement in that score? If depending on what happens in the final
depending
episode,
on how it goes.
Yeah, is there room for movement both up and down?
Okay, I was gonna say there's always room for movement. But as far as going up,
can you foresee something happening that would allow you to push it up to a 7?
No, I can't.
No.
I'm not saying it's not possible.
It would have to be something that just kind of knocks your socks off.
Yeah, you would kind of have to blow me away.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, find out this time next week. We'll have our final impressions uploaded, and we'll get you guys our final scores on this season. But before that, we want to know what your guys' thoughts are. We've been getting a lot of engagement lately, and I really want to keep up the views and the stuff. So please let us know down in the comments below how you feel about Andor so far. Are you enjoying it? What are your gripes? What are not? Okay, and then what are you looking forward to in the season finale? What are your predictions of what's going to be the end-all be-all for this season? That's all I got for you guys today. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check out our social media, Any Kind of Media Cast on Instagram and Twitter, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.
Yep. See you next week.